What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling, and this is a commentary. A couple things have been circulating around in the pro wrestling world and the sports entertainment world, and we're going to start off with the stories that are coming out about AJ Styles. A lot of mystery about AJ Styles. It's very funny, oftentimes, because I think it's more prevalent and more in the news when in AEW because of so many stars like Jay White and Miro and so on and so forth that you don't see on TV for a while, and everybody's like, what happened to them? Why aren't they using this person? Why aren't they using that person? And it's due to injuries and a lot of other things and maybe backstage politics. WWE does have its own set of issues with that as well. People were commenting the other week about Shinsuke Nakamura, that we haven't seen him in God knows how long on WWE TV in any kind of a major role. And the other one is, as the aforementioned, AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, who we haven't seen since his series with Cody Rhodes, that, was the obvious holdover post WrestleMania, feud. It's something WWE's done a lot. This is the Mick Foley spot back in 88 or 98, I should say, that he had after Austin won the championship. Well, we don't want a major person who's he's not going to win the championship, but it's a way to give the champion a good title defense series, and that's what AJ was for Cody. AJ hasn't been seen since then. He did do the WWE Noah show a while back, and you haven't seen much from him. The reports are that he's not injured, that he's physically fine, but I believe it's Sean Ross Sapp has reported that there's just kind of a big question mark, and no one really knows why AJ is not on television right now. So again, the wrestling world, we'll all keep an eye on this stuff. If anything serious comes out of it, I guess we'll talk about it. But I do think it's just, again, it may be suspicious, but at the same time, I'm also kind of thinking that this is kind of this is the nature of the pro wrestling business. The performers come in, they do their thing. Somebody gets hurt, somebody gets injured, somebody has a backstage argument. We've seen it time and time again. It's just part of the business, unfortunately. And it happens. So my gut would say that AJ's, everything's probably fine, and AJ will show up in some, spot at the Survivor Series or something, or he'll be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble, and everybody will forget about all this. But unless something else is going on, we'll talk about it later. Someone else who's been out of the pro wrestling space for a while, for various reasons, is Tully Blanchard's daughter, Tessa Blanchard. And Tully, who, I mentioned earlier this last week, the parallels between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page's match this past couple weeks in their feud, and Tully Blanchard's rivalry with Magnum TA many years ago. Very, very similar rivalries. Well, Tessa Blanchard, we can recount the story. She did, make waves. She had that whole thing with Sami Callihan and TNA, and which was kind of innovative, kind of crazy. Some people loved it, some people hated it. But then there were the racial allegations, and which is interesting because I believe her and Ricochet used to be together, so I don't know. But I never really got into this too much because the personal stuff of wrestlers, you just know the headlines, and I didn't read much more into the story. But reading into it now, it does appear that Tessa has a lot that has made her blackballed from the industry. However, Tully said that his daughter's current comments were a little bit revealing, and she's currently studying in university, so she is a college lady. It's crazy. Every semester she made the dean's list. And my son also, when he went to UTSA in the ROTC program, he made the dean's list every time. She is balancing and handling both sides of that. And I told her, I said, the most important thing is make sure that you steal every show every night, or at least try to. So Tessa, who's apparently in and out of the pro wrestling business because she's been blackballed because of things that she had said or didn't say or meant to say or whatever it was. Cultaholic has a report about it as well, and in their report they say that earlier in 2024 it was claimed that TNA Wrestling were considered to bring Tessa back into the fold, but these plans ultimately never materialized, and TNA Blanchard broke down walls by becoming the first woman to reign as TNA Impact World Champion, as I mentioned before, with a win over Sami Callihan and Hard to Kill 2020. I do remember, wow, that was that long ago. I remember that show. It was one of the few TNA shows, pay-per-views that I got. And that, in particular, one of the reasons was for that match. But was fired later in the year after refusing to come back to drop the belt. So Tessa, again, got a lot of bad history. And like I said before, for people like her and the Sami Callihans and the Joey Ryans of the world, I don't know if there's a road back to them into any kind of mainstream wrestling. But hey, we will see. If we will see what happens with Tessa in the future, if there is a future for her in wrestling, and if not, hopefully she does well, and she is well and has better thoughts about people who are different than her in the future. And the last interesting story, speaking of controversial people, Big Bill, who is, been rising up a little bit lately in AEW and this whole learning tree thing. It has helped Big Bill. I think this is about as high profile. Him and Ricky Starks. See, that seems like it was forever ago, but him and Ricky Starks, they had a great tag team for a while. That was a great spot for him. I think he said that was his first championship in wrestling. And then, he's now with Chris Jericho, another kind of toxic character, but probably the most toxic character that Big Bill is known to be associated with is Enzo Amore. Yes, that's right. You can't teach that SAWFT soft and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember 10 years ago, man, the good old black and gold NXT days of Enzo and Cass and Corey Graves' current wife. So Enzo, another person who's kind of got himself blackballed in the industry, talking a lot of smack. He's able to... he's made some appearances here and there. I remember wow, man, it's a long time ago. The New Japan Ring of Honor show at Madison Square Garden, and they made that, surprise appearance that really didn't go anywhere in the crowd. And, there was a lot of people who thought that Enzo may have gotten a bad rap. There's a lot of more people who think he's annoying as hell and they can't stand him and don't want to see him there. But look, we'll have to see what Big Bill says about him. In an interview, he says, still good friends with Enzo. He's the effing man. People ask me about Enzo all the time, and I tell them he might be the only person I know that's a one of one. They ask, what do you mean? There is no one else on the planet like him. He is a one of a one. You cannot replicate him. He's an incredibly talented guy. So Big Bill kind of putting over Enzo. He did note that he hopes that Enzo gets another shot in the world of pro wrestling. I did find Enzo very talented. I think that some of the things that they did when Enzo and Cass split up weren't that great for Enzo. I remember he took over the cruiserweight division back when WWE had one and kind of took it away from wrestling because straight wrestling doesn't work in WWE, and he made it more entertainment, and then it kind of scuttled the whole point of having a cruiserweight division anyway. So it became a joke championship at that point for many people. So, and of course, probably the biggest thing is he does talk a lot and has irritated many people. Reportedly, Roman Reigns threw him off of a tour bus at one point in time or something. But yeah, there's a lot going on when it comes to Enzo. And, I've seen him pop up on social media from time to time. And hey, look, the guy was a great talker. I don't know if he can kind of not be so out there and rub people the wrong way so much. I mean, Leo Rush had a similar kind of a problem, but he's been able to bounce back from that. So who's not... I don't think anybody's to say that Enzo is completely done with wrestling. He still seems to lurk around it here and there. So a return at some point in time, whether it's WWE, NXT, AEW, who knows? I've seen stranger things happen in the world of pro wrestling and sports entertainment, but I want to know what you guys think about these stories. What do you think about the possibility of Enzo Amore returning to wrestling? What do you think about Tessa Blanchard possibly returning to pro wrestling? And where do you think AJ Styles is? And is he going to be returning to pro wrestling and sports entertainment anytime soon? Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. And until next time, I'll see you guys here for more news, rumors, and commentary on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.